Hey guys, it's Spees here, and a lot of news for the Dragonflight expansion have just come out, so let's go over it all. And the biggest one is the release date. As you see here, the release date is November 28th, so about 2 months from now. November 28th is the Monday after Thanksgiving for us Americans, and for, I guess, everyone else in the world, it's Monday. But yes, so they are going to get it in by the end of the year. So another interesting thing they announced is, where is it here? The Winds of Wisdom is, which is the 50% experience buff, will return starting on Tuesday. So if you're a returning player and don't know what to play in Dragonflight, you have this buff to level up a bunch of characters, try them out, and get your list of characters ready for Dragonflight. But the next thing they announced is, when do all the raids and Mythic Plus open? And that will be December 12th, which I believe is 2 weeks after the expansion comes out. Just let me double check that. 28th? Yep, that is 2 weeks. So you have 2 weeks to level up your characters, get gear from normal and heroic and Mythic Zero dungeons. But then December 12th, the raids and Mythic Plus opens. And they're doing something slightly different this time. Mythic raids will open the same time as normal and heroic mode. So no more waiting a week to do the Mythic raids, which is a very, very interesting change. And with that change, it does also have a slight change to Mythic Plus. Usually during Mythic Plus, the first week of the season, they cap the loot at a certain level to match it with the heroic gear you can get from raids. But now that the Mythic raid is opening the first week, you can get your best loot from the 15 mythics. So that first week, you can just get in there and grind your Mythic Plus to get your best gear from there. Or get it from the raids, too. So, and then also, like normal, the Raid Finder has wings that opens up December 19th. Wing 1 opens January 12th, January 16th for the final wing. Cross-faction Mythic will be available from the start. So, no more Horde or Alliance, but to be qualified for the Hall of Fame, you need at least 16 out of the 20 Raiders in the Mythic to be from the same guild and faction to be eligible for the title. So, but we can do cross, you can have Horde and Alliance mixed together. Also, if you didn't know, Dragonflight is coming out with 8 new dungeons, but only 4 of them will be in the Mythic Plus pool, plus 4 old returning dungeons. So the new dungeons from Dragonflight are Ruby Life pools, the Nukhud Offensive, the Azor Vault, and Algarath Academy. And then the returning dungeons are Hall of Valor from Legions, Court of Stars from Legions, Shadow Moon Burial Ground from Warlords, and Temple of the Jade Serpent from Mist and Pandaria. They're doing this just to keep it interesting every season. So next, in Season 2, it is just thought of that all 8 of these dungeons will rotate out, and then the 4 other Dragonflight dungeons will rotate in, plus 4 old returning, or 4 dungeons from past expansions will also rotate in. Just to keep it fresh throughout each season, so you don't feel like you're just grinding the same dungeons over and over. Now, there are definitely pros and cons to this. The pros is, well, they're new dungeons. You won't get burnt out feeling like you're running the same dungeons for over a year at a time, maybe 2 years at a time. But the cons are, well, if these new dungeons that rotate in don't have an item you like, or any items you like, it feels bad when the dungeons in the season before had great items. Also, with a whole pair of new dungeons coming in at Season 2 that no one's ever practiced on Mythic Plus, it just feels bad because everyone is learning them, and then it's just a pug nightmare if you just do a lot of pickup groups. No one knows what's going on, and it's just that learning curve at the start of the season. So there are pros and cons to this. Let's see here. They announced there's going to be a new seasonal fix. We don't know exactly what it is yet. They haven't given us any information. But they have announced that the necrotic affix and the inspiring affix are not going to return. That's right. I think all tanks and healers of the world just rejoiced at no necrotic. I get the idea of necrotic. They want something that really just targets tanks, but it was just unfun that the stacking debuff gets applied to you that just says you take less healing. All it just felt like it turned into is a kite fest where you just had to pull all the mobs and then just start running. Like, that was really the only counterplay. And then inspiring, I mean, I get the idea around inspiring. You have this mob in a group that just has this aura around him that no one around him can be CC'd or interrupted. So the counterplay to do inspiring was to either focus down the inspiring mob first or CC it and pull everything else away from him. But either way, like if another group accidentally gets pulled in, or if you CC the mob and the CC accidentally breaks, or if you try to Zerg it down and you don't do it quick enough, it just ruins the flow of the dungeon. So inspiring is not coming back. So let's see here. And now they announced that the Creation Catalyst will return in Dragonflight. If you haven't been playing Shadowlands, you're asking yourself, what the hell is the Creation Catalyst? The Creation Catalyst was a tool, an item, a place you can go to craft tier gear. And what you did is you put a piece of gear in that was non-tier in the same slot as a tier. So say you had shoulders that were not tier, you could put it into this item and it will pop out a tier shoulders of the same item level. So the idea was this was a way to get tier gear if you were so unlucky in raids that it just never dropped for you. So, but the idea around it is there is some kind of currency you have to get. In Shadowlands, it is pretty generous with the currency now. It was currency you get from killing raid bosses, doing Mythic Plus dungeons. I think you got some from PvP. So the idea is you just naturally gain this currency throughout doing just the stuff you should normally do to get gear anyways, and then you spent that to turn drops that you got that are not tier into tier. There was charges on it that slowly built up, so the first week it was open, you can only make one piece of tier, and then it had a week cooldown, and then you can wait the next week and get another charge. And then at some point in Shadowlands, as the weeks went on, then you got 2 charges a week. And then you can bank up the charges also. So if you didn't spend it, you didn't lose it. So, and the idea is also if you created an alt later down the line, he would have all these charges built up. So all you would have to do is go out, grind the currency, get some kind of gear that can be turned into tier, and then you can get your tier gear. It is a really great system. But they have announced that this will not open up until 6 weeks after the raid opens, which I know a lot of people aren't going to like that because it just feels bad if you don't have your tier gear and you just are so unlucky from raids that you're not getting it and you have to wait 6 weeks just to make one piece. The idea of this is it's either supposed to be a catch-up mechanic for an alt you make later in the season, so he has all these charges already banked up and can make the tier gear, or it's just supposed to be a bad luck protection that, hey, I've been raiding for 6 weeks and only gotten one piece of gear, 2 pieces of tier gear, 3 pieces, and this is just supposed to help you finish it off. And I also want to point out that they released what all the tier bonuses are, and none of them are super crazy or game breaking, so you shouldn't feel as bad for not getting your tier right away. None of them are mind blowing, and they even said that in the blog post. There is a big change with the talent system in Dragonflight, so you get a lot of your power and a lot of choices from the talent tree, so they don't want to feel like they're adding another crazy level on top of it by making super overpowered tier bonuses. But let's just take a quick look at the healer ones, because I play healers, and I'll just show you that, yeah, they are all nice, but none of them are super overpowered compared to the tier gear we have right now in Shadowlands. So let's look at Resto Druid. 2-set, Rejuvenation, Life Bloom, Wild Growth, Efflorescence, and Tranquility. Change to crit is increased by 10%. And then the 4-piece, Efflorescence, crit heals, increases the healing of your next Wild Growth by 10%, stacking up to 5 times. And then Life Bloom crits reduce the cooldown of Nature Swiftness by 2 seconds. As you can see, it's just kind of boring. Here's just some stat increases when you use the spells you're supposed to use. I mean, it's nice, you'll take it, but it doesn't feel so game breaking. Look at Evokers under Preservation. 2-set, Empower spells increase Reversion's chance to critically heal by 5% for 6 seconds. Okay, flat increase. And then Reversion Healing has a chance to cast your next Living Flame to cast instantly and deal 20% damage and healing, stacking up to 2 times. That is actually kind of nice. It does give you a slight playstyle change, making Living Flame instant and just deal more damage and healing. You can easily weave it into your rotation and not feel bad by stopping to hard cast it. So they actually have a pretty decent 4-set. What's next here? Monks. 2-set. Fist of Fear. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm reading Windwalker. Mistweaver. Healing from your Enveloping Mist, Essence Fonts, and Vivify are increased by 15% on targets with your Renewing Mist. Like I said, just a flat increased. 4-piece, Essence Font and Vivify healing are increased by 10%, and your Renewing Mist on targets healed by your Essence Fonts are extended by 1 second for each heal. Like I said, these are just nothing mind-blowing. It doesn't add, anything. It's just stat increases for doing things you should be doing. Holy Paladins. 2-set, Holy Shock increases the critical hit chance of your next heal within 10 seconds by 10%. Wait, increases the crit hit chance. I'm sorry, I just zoned out for a second and I saw hit chance and I'm like, oh my god, are they adding hit back? But no, this basically just says if you cast Holy Shock, your next heal has a 10% crit chance. Kind of worded weird. And 4-piece, when your direct healing spells critically strike, your next Holy Shock deals 30% increased damage and healing. So like I said, it's just all flat, kind of boring stat increases for doing things you should be doing anyway. I do like how these two just kind of funnel in each other. Holy Shock makes your next spell have a higher chance of critting, and then when you crit with a direct heal, your next Holy Shock deals more damage and healing. So as you float back and forth between Holy Shock and non-Holy Shock heals, they just have a chance to buff up each other. Priest, Discipline. Casting Power Word Shield increases the effectiveness of your next direct damage or healing spell by 10%. And then 4-piece, Penance increases the strength of your next Power Word Shield by 100% of its damage or 30% of its healing. Hold on, let me read that second one again. Penance increases the strength of your heritage shield, but if you damage with it, it's 100% of your damage. If you heal with it, 30% of your healing. So, like I said, just doing things you normally do as a healer, hey, you just get some either a bump to your healing, actual healing, or a bump to your some kind of stat. Holy Priest. Casting Prayer of Mending reduces the cast time of your next heal or Prayer of Healing by 1 second. Increases the Holy Word cooldown reduction effect by 2 seconds. And then 4-piece, Holy Word Serenity or Holy Word Sanctify. When they finish their cooldown, you gain 15% critical strike for 8 seconds. Like I've been saying, usually the two kind of focus into each other. You cast, Prayer of Mending, and it reduces the cast time of either heal or Prayer of Healing by 1 second, and gets your holy words off cooldowns quicker, which then once you cast your holy words, once they get off their cooldown, you gain 15% critical strike chance. And so, which is nice because right when your holy words come off your cooldown, you should be casting them, so now they'll have a 15% critical strike chance increase. And then the last healer, Shamans. Resto. While Healing Stream or Cloudburst is active, your chance to critically strike is increased by 10%. And then when they expire or die, you gain 10% haste for 10 seconds. Alright, I main a Shaman now, so I do have some things to say about this. They have nerfed Healing Stream Cloudburst in the beta. It now has a 45-second cooldown with some talents. I think you can get it down to 42 seconds. And then you have some passives that might proc to knock a couple of seconds off it. So this is not as crazy as it would be in Shadowlands with a 30-second cooldown to the totems, but it is nice. It reinforces what you should be doing as a shaman, keeping Cloudburst down and active as much as you can. So it is, like I said, none of them are mind-blowing, but they are all just nice. And like I said, you shouldn't feel super bad that the Catalyst will not be in the game for 6 weeks after the raid because, well, at least from a healer perspective, none of the tier sets are mind-blowing. They're just a nice bonus. One other big thing that I want to mention, in the raids, right now in Shadowlands, it is personal loot. That when you kill a boss, gear just appears in people's bags. You don't loot it or anything. That is changing in Dragonflight. It is going back to need versus greed. If you don't remember what that is, because it hasn't been in the game for a hot minute, when the gear drops, you'll have all these little boxes appear on your screen that says, here's the piece of gear. You can roll need on it, like, hey, that's an upgrade for me. Or you can press the greed button and you'll roll a greed roll. That's supposed to be like, hey, it's not really an upgrade for me, but like, I want it, maybe for transmog, or it looks cool, or it could be a side grade. And this is for all, even LFR, normal, heroic, and mythic raids. So, and you're forced to use it. But they are taking away the I can't trade this item because it's an eye level upgrade for me. That's been in the game for a little bit. So if you say you do need to roll on something and you do win it, you can then just trade it if you go, oh, wait, maybe this wasn't as great as I thought. So I think it kind of makes it easier for like guild groups or very pre-made groups that are all on the same page. Hey guys, just need it if you need it, and then after you win it, if you go, hey, wait, this wasn't that great for me, let's just put it back up for roll, or let the guy who roll the second best get it. But it could be crazy in pugs, people just needing on everything. Now, they are going to add restrictions. If you already are wearing the item, it won't let you need greed it, or need roll on it. Unless you're wearing, say, the normal piece of gear and then the heroic gear drop, then you can roll need on it because, hey, it is an upgrade. It's going from normal to heroic. So, that is a weird change. It's going to be weird to see the need versus greed box appear again. But this just takes out the weirdness now that when you just kill a boss, that gear just appears in people's inventories. And some people are like, man, I really don't want this gear. And I wish I could trade it to someone else, but no, it's a higher eye level, so I can't trade it. So at least they're giving us the, they're giving more powers back to the player. We can just choose if we want to roll on it, and then after we get the item, we can then go, maybe I didn't really need this. I can trade it to someone else. Yes, there could be some things where you have your friends need roll something that you need, and they can secretly trade it to you in the background. But hey, they can't stop everything. So, I thank everyone for watching this video. See you next time.